Do you guys got any questions, or you want to talk about aliens or things you see on the internet, or just crazy stuff out there that we all see and wonder about, think about?
How do you feel about Donald Trump?
I think it should be a good thing, but there's a lot of people who have a lot of predictions now saying he's going to do World War and be assassinated.
Yeah. Oh, the dishwasher.
Just, you have to wait and see what happens.
Shut up.
Yeah, he might do. He might do some good. He might do. He's been saying like changing everything he's been saying like during the election to like the complete opposite. What he
Yeah,
said.
see, that thing is being a Republican, they all have their agenda and they don't stray from that. And they're always like that, they tell you everything you want to hear and then just continue doing the same crap they've been doing. I think it'll be alright, because I think he's against world order, one world government, so he wants to just take care of America.
Unless he was the leader of it.
Well, maybe he's all about power. So, being a billionaire and power is your thing, that's not always a good thing either.
The one thing about it that you guys have to kind of focus and keep in mind is when Obama came into office, you guys were about 10 years old. Most of you 10, 11 years old. Now you're 18, 19, 20 years old, and the new president, well, by the time he leaves, you're going to be 28 years old. There's a possibility. And what he does now until 28 will affect you. And then when the next guy comes along, it's important for you guys to make a decision of, because it's your future, not mine. Mine's done. Us old people are done. And we vote. We're the voters and stuff. And how he got voted in is kind of a tricky one, but he got voted in. And I don't think he's going to do all that bad. He's going away from the mainstream, but the people that he's picked are really headstrong in their communities and in their beliefs. It's like the one lady from the Carolinas. She got rid of the Confederate flag and stuff like that because of the racism and things. And then he gets guys that are just, but we're totally different than the same old, which ain't so good, That's the thing, Where we were and where we are. I mean, it's good. There's no problem with that. But we were headed not in a good areas sometimes.
Yeah, Obama kind of got handed all this debt and
Right,
all
there
these
he did a good
problems.
job. In his foreign affairs with Iran and the, giving back criminals and stuff like that, that wasn't too smart.
Yeah, the foreign affairs thing definitely was not great.
Yeah, he didn't do a very good job of that.
Yeah.
But like with the debt and all that, he did pretty good. We're still in debt, but
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, that's the thing. That stuff's all kind of fictitious too, because
It really is because we don't even have that much money anyways to pay
right.
it back. Like there's no way, even if everyone in the United States gave up everything they have, we still couldn't pay up that debt.
Right.
It's like a fictitious number that keeps going up.
That's the thing too. Governments, they don't have much effect on our everyday life.
we're
One,
low
you're
on the,
be afraid of them, but
we're just regular
won't
people,
change.
workers.
Oh no, I think it should be interesting. Because I mean, everybody was down talking Obama when he became president.
Yeah.
He was here for 2 terms, so we'll see what happens.
And that's like they want to raise that minimum wages and different things like that, which is necessary. But when they do,
Everything else
everything
goes
else
up
will
too.
go up.
well, that'll happen. But the people from outside the United States will come in and take those jobs. Be more than glad to go to work for McDonald's for $15 an hour.
Oh yeah.
Shit like that. They've already proved that because they'll work there for $10 an hour. But if you raise it, and we've seen that in the past in construction and stuff. And Denver right now is going through a boom. You may not think so, but
Construction
they're
boom.
building everywhere. They have no skilled labor. It's really difficult to find people that know any damn thing. For one thing, the schools are shutting down all their shop classes, all the classes like that used to be a starting stepping stone
Like wood
for,
shop and
Skill trades.
for something, you know, at least you knew what the hell that kind of saw was, and, you know, if
Or if you
nothing
weren't so
else,
book smart, you could use that skill trade and go still fucking make a good life with it.
a lot of people can, if they knew how to use the tools, can read the instructions and follow them.
Exactly.
And everything comes with instructions, it's just you don't have the tools, or the space, or the place to do it.
or the little tips and tricks
Yeah,
help you through
and
it.
that's kind of important to know when you're,
Well, you used to be able to just need a wrench and, you know, a little knowledge, you could fix your car, but now you gotta go to college just to change the battery.
Damn near.
yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
What I heard, like, what my teachers always like telling us is like, we're not training you for the jobs now. We're trying to train you for the jobs in the future.
it's
Yeah,
just,
but
Which is
they
crazy.
may not come about.
That's what I'm saying. How can they guarantee
Yeah.
that still- that's
At
what
least
they
give
got
us
it.
some training for these, you know, like give us the general skills for all around.
Yeah, I agree. It's getting messed up.
yeah, it's kind of tough to learn algebra and all those maths when you don't know what 2 + 2 is,
Right.
you know.
So you kind of got to be involved.
Yeah.
You know, they have city
Don't
council
know the
get
basics,
any
you
farther.
can't go
Oh,
any
yeah.
further.
every week, and anybody can go.
I thought that's what school was
And then
for.
you could talk to the
basics
mayor
and stuff.
And a
So
tape
you-
measure
Yeah, and
is
that's how
really the
they
easiest way to learn
establish rules, laws.
a lot of fractions and
You know,
different things
things
like
they
that, because it's all right there on the tape
because
measure,
everybody
it shows you.
kind of comes to agreement,
But
if nobody
different-
goes to those meetings, then who knows what.
skills that you learn in
You do
shop in
anything,
different
you
places
know.
like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
then your voice will never get heard. You
Never
know.
gets heard and it never changes. And see, that's the thing, you can go there and say, hey, you know, we're really being left behind because you're not giving us the skills to function in society. And they'll change that, but you have to be a part of those things, you know. Because that's the thing, it's all about our local people. And as long as you get along with them, life's pretty good. And big governments, they just are control the army.
They're pretty corrupt, some of them.
Yeah, it's all corrupt and it's always
They all
been
want their
that way.
pockets filled, that's for
Yeah.
sure. They all want money in their pockets, live in a nice house, drive nice cars,
Mhm.
you know, send their kids to nice schools, you know, and that. That's the goal for those people, really.
Mhm. Have a $3-4 million house. Like,
Yeah, and that's, you know, in fact, when I was your age, there was $1 million house in Denver. One. And now,
they're
every house in Denver is
There's damn
they're
near.
getting up there.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You go in the mountains. There's
yeah, you
Crazy
can't. It's
houses.
like across the street, Cherry Hills and all of them. They're very, very, very expensive homes. But
crazy.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go start. I'm so scared. Cold.
It's cold as
but
hell,
it's
man.
important for you guys to realize what the government will mean to you in 10 years, in 5 years, in 2 years. You know, because you're going to be out of school and stuff. You're going to want to try and further your education, or you know, find a good company to go to work for. Start in the mailroom
Good
and work your
career.
way up to president, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to share one with
And
you.
the one thing about it, if you got an
But, like,
education, it helps
After
you go
that, if I spark
a
up,
step
then
further
I'll-
than the guy behind you.
Come find me.
So you guys think about aliens and stuff? Think they're real?
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes. I mean,
There's a lot of video evidence.
there's
that
definitely
there's
life
something
out
going
there.
on.
They can't be the only.
They got
you
that
know,
NASA, like, you know how NASA is doing that live feed now of Earth?
Yeah.
Like, they have, like, well, they're, like, doing, like, live videos of Earth from space now.
Uh-huh.
And, like, fucking, they're, like, a bunch of weird shit keeps coming up, and they, like, cut it out. Well, they don't cut it out because it's live, but they turn
But
it
it's
off.
like error. Like
Yeah, they'll
we're
just, like,
having
stop the live feed. They're like,
server
yeah, we're sorry, we're having errors and
communication
shit. Or,
errors.
like, you see a bunch of
like,
weird ass shit. Like, really weird stuff. It's weird.
yeah,
I don't
like,
know, they got, like, they were showing, like, a
Patty,
live video
you
of
put that right here.
Earth from space, and there's just like there was like a big giant thing just floating above it, like sitting there.
Yeah, we can't be the only life.
spaceship
you know?
or whatever.
Like,
I don't fucking know.
Right?
But it's just,
That's
it's
the thing
too
is-
big out
it's weird.
there.
It's like a live video.
They're
It's
not
too
cool.
big, huh?
But that's
the
weird.
thing is,
Oh.
it'd be foolish to think we're the
Yeah.
only.
And it's constantly expanding, so like there has to be something out there.
Yeah. You guys ever heard of that thing in Switzerland where they hit the two atoms together
Yeah.
and then release the gut
Oh,
or
like it just spins around and
Yeah.
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 They were going to do that here in Colorado, and we voted out
Huh?
against it back in the 80s, and then they ended up going to Switzerland. And yeah,
there's
a lot
name
of weird
for it.
stuff ever since they cracked that thing open or whatever. A lot of weird things have been happening all around the world. No, that's the thing is, it is proof and it is evidence that there is a God and He exists. Because that's the thing. It's nothing outside of those particles can have matter. You know, it's like makes up the matter of a table, chairs, our bodies, everything. So in that, all things have existence, but nothing can control that. You know what I mean? Because like God has no control of God. There's a lot of weird
They've
stuff
taken
talking about that.
They've
thing.
taken like like they got these like photograph machines. It's called a quantum camera. Like they take like pictures, but in like quantum. Like it's weird. I don't fucking know how to explain it,
Some
but
kind of quantum.
yeah, they take pictures with this like quantum camera, and it can take and when they take a picture of it, there's a cat. Like that's weird. It's like it can take pictures of things that aren't like even there. You know what I mean? Especially the molecules that your eyes can't pick up. And there's
For ghost searching or whatever.
no, they weren't even doing it like that. They just took a picture. They were trying to see what happens if you take a picture on like that small molecular level, you know. And they're fucking picking up like it's like taking pictures, and you know, and you can see like like ghosts and shit
Going
though.
on in there.
Yeah, well, no, not even
Yeah.
stuff. There's like a picture, and it's just like there's like a cat just like that's not there in the when you take it with a normal camera. You can't see it, but with like when you take it through this camera, it like brings up.
Probably has
It's-
a lot of
Man, I got
shutter
a
speeds
friend,
and
and
stuff.
Yeah.
they were at Disneyland, and there's all kinds of video, like surveillance camera stuff with ghosts in that at Disneyland.
Oh yeah.
And my friend was there back in like the 80s, long time ago, and took a picture. And there's this ghost sitting right next to him and looking right at, like directly right at him. And like when they took the picture, there was no ghost there. There was nothing there. It was just them sitting there alone. And this is a scary looking picture. You know? It's like
Yeah,
damn.
that's like one time me and Rob went up to the cemetery, you know, just to hang out, and
Yeah, that's.
we caught.
That's bullshit.
No, I got a weird story about the cemetery too. No,
You talk yourselves into seeing shit.
no, we
I-
didn't see nothing.
I've done that.
We
It's
didn't.
bullshit.
We didn't see anything. Me and Rob, we went to the cemetery. We went to the fucking cemetery like around like maybe like 11:30.
Oh,
We went
midnight's the
there.
best.
We were just going like we weren't even going there to like do it. We just went to go to like take some dabs, you know, somewhere where like with some peace and quiet where we don't have to worry about anybody. And we went to take some dabs at the cemetery, and we're respecting like you know we went walked around, acknowledged people that used to be alive. You know what I mean? Just looking around, and well, we went up to the mausoleum, and it was weird because like we're sitting there and we're walking around like looking, reading the people's names and stuff, and as we're walking, I swear, like you could hear like you could hear like the rocks. There was like a walkway, like a sidewalk, but next to the sidewalk there was like a rock bed. You know what I mean? Bunch of little stones to make it look nice. As me and Rob were walking around the mausoleum, you could hear the rocks moving and like steps, like so like somebody was walking on the rock. And we walked up to this one name, and we were reading them, and it got super cold. And we went to and as we got back around to the other side, it was like really warm. It was weird. One side was like super cold. One side was really warm. Only around certain like people's names though. It was weird. And we could hear those rocks moving the whole time. It was weird. And then Rob got all scared, and he's like, "Yeah, we should get the hell out of here." It was a trip though. We didn't see nothing weird, but.
You ever seen those crop circles and all that
Yeah.
stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's where they got the idea to hit those two atoms together. There's a whole message. I've been studying that things for like 20 some years.
There's a lot of weird things.
Goes
There's
back
like-
hundreds of years, those crop circles.
Oh, yeah.
And
Mhm.
nobody knows what the heck. And
They-
you can see there's a mathematical message in it. Because math is like a
Well, they
Universal
say like
language.
pyramids.
Yeah.
They say the pyramids are like in the
Lined
way they
up.
are. They're lined up a certain way. They're lined up with Orion.
Yeah.
They're lined up with Orion's belt, and they do that because Orion's belt is like the way, like apparently, like the language of the universe is geometry and stuff like
Right.
that. And the Egyptians lined up the pyramids to align with Orion's belt, and that's like a symbol of like peace or something. Like
You
that.
know
It's
what
like
they used to do?
intelligence.
You know what them pyramids? They found out that they're like a big giant battery. And so
Yeah,
underneath
they
the
produce
thing,
light. They have light bulbs.
They did, yeah.
That's what the tip.
And the water, as
the
it
tip-
go underneath, they
Yeah.
let water in and they keep rising in that underneath of them.
The
And
tip
create
of
a
the
static
pyramid's gold.
electricity.
And that's where it gets all of its like its electrical force
When,
from.
when people would die in that pharaohs and people would die, they would go and put them in those tombs, and then they crank. They have a whole crank thing, and they crank this thing, and it would blow out a bolt of lightning,
Mhm.
like out of control electricity out of the top of the thing, and that's how they would like
That's how they
send your
their
spirit
to
into
wherever.
heavens or wherever. And,
Mhm.
yeah, not just the Egyptians. There's other writings throughout time where that's one of the reasons they are the most feared people on earth, because they blow fire out of the tops of those things, and
There's-
they could be seen for 100 miles away. They're so big.
Yeah, there's ancient civilizations that are like said they've come into contact with extra, like with
Yeah, there's a lot of
otherworldly
weird
beings.
stuff too. You know,
and
the Vatican has a library that's top secret to like everybody knows about it, but you can't like
They have-
every book in there you cannot look at.
They
Nobody's
have
allowed
the
to read
world's
it.
biggest library.
Yeah.
Too.
Nobody's allowed to read those books. Nobody can see those books. Yeah, they are. You can't look at that, and a lot of
You need-
people think it's like weird shit. Like they're trying to
Yeah,
hide
there
something.
is.
Why
Everything.
wouldn't we be able to
everywhere.
see that? That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
That whole library, nobody is allowed to read any of the
Because they
documents
would
in
destroy it. That's why they don't allow anybody to see it.
Mm-hmm.
They will destroy it.
That would be weird.
Well,
but yeah, those ancient
like,
civilizations, they would say that the the beings, they said they would come from certain star clusters,
It's like
Right.
and they found out like certain ancient architect designs were based off of like where star system was or something.
That they came from.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's kind of weird.
That's like the
it's funny.
pyramids,
Every
they shoot 'em.
single religion,
That they would just like keep all these works. Like,
it's all,
hidden
every
like
one of
that.
them, don't matter what religion it is, goes back to ancient times, and they all claim to met,
A certain
aliens
type
or
of being.
extraterrestrial beings, and
Mhm.
gave them the knowledge to mine gold, silver.
There's a
build
part in
these
the Bible
crazy
things
where they
like
talk
that,
about
so-
aliens.
Yeah.
That's like the Egyptians, like how you're saying with the pyramids. Like there's scriptures on the walls that show like these beings that like have no like resemblance to
They
Right.
found
anything on
there's
Earth.
there's these things called
Crazy.
there's like these
Yeah, they had
elongated
giants
skulls
and
that they
that
found.
Egyptians
and they
got-
say they helped them.
It's like a-
They helped them
they said it was
learn
from
like
a
that
tribe. I
technology
forget
of the
what the name
pyramids
was.
and
Well, they said the like
crazy.
skulls were elongated because people like back in the day would take rope and yeah. Well, they did. They found a skull with enough flesh on, like with enough DNA on it to do a test on it, and its DNA has. They've never seen it before. There's nothing on this planet that has anything close similar to the DNA that they found on the skull.
we've also found like material that doesn't fit on the periodic table.
Yeah, and
It
those
had to
like
have come from a different planet or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, the Romans, right, invented concrete.
Yeah, they've been
Not
to
long
cement
ago.
concrete.
Yeah, and their
And
roads
we
are
didn't,
still
we didn't
up.
use it until the 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of those roads they built back then are better than the roads we have now. They,
Yeah. they're still
Well,
there, yeah,
well,
thousands
they,
of
the
years
way
ago.
they lasted, like
No, I understand they're way better because we.
but
only
that's
have
probably
our roads for
bumpy.
10
I'm
years.
sure.
That way we got.
Yeah,
it out.
back in that time, the society there was equal to here, like America being, all top notch, and they had plumbing and warm
Oh,
water and all that stuff. It was, They were extremely smart people.
Mm-hmm. They had irrigation lines.
Yeah, all of our plumbing irrigation come from there. The ability to build big buildings, you know, their arts.
Yeah, how did they
and that.
move those slabs of rock? Like,
Well, there's this dude.
Genesis.
There's this thing out in Florida, I think it is. It's called Coral Castle.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
That was built by one man
Yeah.
with no machinery,
Right.
way back in the day.
He moved.
No slaves, no
2
machinery,
ton,
no
20
nothing.
ton rocks.
These
yeah.
are 2-ton coral blocks of dead coral, and he built a fucking castle out of this shit. One person.
Hmm.
That
Can you
makes no
explain
sense.
how?
Well, there's clues all around the castle. They found notes and stuff in the castle, and he's got things inscribed into some of the corals, and there's a big sundial outside, and it says like in between like a certain time and a certain time is like, and next to the sundial says this is the time a man should work. You have to do it between a certain time and a certain time, you know. And he had like small little clues on how he did it all throughout the throughout the castle, but nobody's figured it out. And he was actually assassinated. He just disappeared one day.
Oh.
If you look into the research, if you look into about him, he just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to him.
Well, they're starting to find out that you can levitate things through sound waves,
Vibrations.
vibrations.
Well, Mile High Stadium used to move in and out. A long
Yeah.
time ago.
Giant stadium.
And how they did move that was they filled this platform with water, and it was just
An
an
inch
inch
or two.
of water. And they would vibrate it, and that machine would go forward because of just the whole, everything under was like an island. And it'd go forward, then they'd do it, go back. That's how they moved the stadium,
That's some cool engineering.
by
Yeah.
vibrating the water.
That's
And I mean the
probably,
whole half a fucking stadium.
that's
now.
probably things they like. Yeah, they don't talk about. Like people don't like. Really,
Yeah.
That's not something they probably like. Let people see.
Yeah.
That's secret fucking information, man.
They
When
say
they did
everything,
that was so
every
high-tech,
living
so
thing,
modern.
Yeah.
anything, like
That's
everything
the
has its
stuff
own
the ancients,
vibration.
like,
That's what they're saying.
figured out
Like,
was
even
through
plants
vibrations,
let
so
off
they
a
can move, like-
vibration. Like,
Down in
we're
Arizona, they
constantly
moved
letting
the
out
field.
vibrations.
Mhm.
They can drag the
Like,
field
we all
outside of the
have,
stadium,
Energy.
outside,
We're like
let
an
it grow,
energy.
and they can push it back
Yeah,
inside of the
that's
stadium when it gets
that's
too
why
hot.
some
to
people
go.
like attract.
Mhm.
That's
Because you
weird.
have them
Same.
same vibration things, and yeah.
That's the truth.
It's
Some
crazy.
people don't come together because it's different frequencies.
Mhm. And what they're learning with those vibrations is crazy.
Yeah, man, I heard this thing on the internet that they've been pumped. I don't know what it is, but there's a tone or like a small vibration that you can't hear it with your ear, but they play it. And,
Oh, yeah, it's like
it will kind
subliminal.
of like hypnotize you and
Mhm.
keeps you right there, and you'll be for hours and hours watching the internet, and it's like a drug almost, but.
Video
Oh.
games.
Yeah, because they're pumping
Oh,
this,
the video
this
games.
energy wave, a sound wave that hooks your brain. That's what they're
Yeah, and
saying.
there's-
I don't know if I've.
There's like countries that have done testing, like tests
Yeah.
like that on the
yeah.
population without them even knowing. Like Russia was big on it.
Russia
like,
does a lot.
Germany-
Back in the day,
China,
Britain.
Germany really
Germany.
experimented with the
Oh,
human body
yeah.
a lot.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Most
Back
of
in the
our,
day, though, Britain was experimenting with chemical warfare, and they put it out on all the people in their own country
I heard that.
just to see what would
There's a
happen.
lot
Well,
in
one
other
of the biggest
countries.
chemical manufacturing
they-
plants
that's
is
what's
right there in
happening with-
Denver, Colorado.
What they're saying too, like yeah, all these planes
Yeah.
there. That, I don't know if y'all heard about that in chemtrails or whatever.
Right.
But the planes that are going by, they're like crop dusting us, right? Like they're
No,
throwing
that's
stuff out. Well, what it is they're
that's vapor. That's exhaust vapor. It's because they're so high up. It's moisture.
I don't know. That's weird.
Well,
Don't
they
be
have
getting
the
caught on
harp.
an
Have you
airplane.
seen
You'll
that harp
fuck up.
technology they got?
You
where
wear
they're
aluminum
using
foil
sound
on your
waves
head
to
so
try
they
and
can't
move.
track you.
No, well,
Cloud.
see, what they do is they drop microscopic pieces of iron and stuff like that in the water. There's like heavy amounts of fluoride in our water. What
That's
fluoride?
from the fucking manufacturer. These plants that used to be in the United States, they had acid rain. They smoking so nasty going into the fucking air, and it'd drift to us. China, the flu they call the swine flu. It comes from China, right? Because of the pigs, and it gets in the pig, and it takes a year to get from China to here. but it travels all the fucking way around the world.
Yeah.
Then the next year, a new strain does it,
Mm.
and they start in China.
What's crazy is like with all the nuclear waste,
Uh-huh.
that's going all around the world right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that the
Yeah,
oceans
yeah.
are completely
They're
fucked.
starting
That's
The
another
oceans are
thing.
like gonna be dead in the
Like,
next 10
yeah.
years.
Colorado is where they
There's,
used
like,
to turn it into
Fish with two
plutonium and
heads
stuff
and like
right here.
3 fins.
We have a
and-
clock in Colorado in the Colorado
atomic
or
clock.
that one college. It's the School of Mines.
The atomic
There's
clock.
a clock
yeah.
that runs off of radioactive waste,
And
and it's so it's
Accurate.
yeah it's.
And it's one of the
But what it
the
is
most
like
deadly
yeah,
forms
all
of
this stuff.
radiation.
It's what it is. It's
Yeah.
extremely high concentrated radioactive material because it's a way to get rid of nuclear waste. You know what I mean? Through a clock. But if that clock ever broke and that shit got in the air,
Yeah, they
it
say
could-
that
it
goes
would
in the
fucking
air.
kill
When they
everybody on the
Closed
planet
the Rocky Flats out
because
there,
it's so
and
concentrated.
they started tearing it
It's
apart.
like a dust.
They
It's
found,
weird.
I think, how many pounds of dust, plutonium, radioactive dust
Oh.
in the fucking air ducts. They scrape it out. And there's just piles and piles of it.
Yeah, that's it. It spreads. It spreads.
There's definitely a reason why we have cancer around. Like
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
we created that shit.
It's just like Carl Sagan was saying the other day on TV. He's an old space genius kind of guy, and that the human beings have polluted the earth with 40,000 nuclear weapons.
And that's like
That's how many nuclear weapons
there's
can
even
go off.
there's even more than
Can blow
that.
up.
We have like combined just between like America, like
We ain't
U.S.
make
and
it.
Russia.
They don't make them anymore.
They don't make them
Yeah,
anymore, but
no.
they have the stockpiles because
Well,
back
that's
in
what he's talking about.
back in the day from the Bay of Pigs and stuff like that, when we were having
Oh, yeah.
through the Cold War, we were like there was like a document between Russia and America, and it was a mutual destruction. Basically, if there was ever an extreme war to go on between Russia and America, it was like mutual annihilation. Nobody's gonna win. We're just gonna
That's a fact.
kill each other. Everybody's gonna die.
And we came that close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it was
missiles were
damn
out.
it, that
Like the
close.
missiles were out of their silos. Like great grandma was telling me when she was a little girl that she remembered they were seeing that they were like out. Where's that one place in Colorado? Like you could,
Titan?
you like pretty much you like pretty much like drive right over the silos. Where was that at?
Well, it's all over Colorado.
Yeah,
All
I
over
remember.
Colorado, but this was-
Colorado, Wyoming. And the reason they're located here and stuff is we're in the middle
Middle
of
of
the
the-
United
yeah.
States. If they were going to come and get us, they have to come all
All
the
the
way
way.
through New York and all that.
Mhm.
And armies would be,
Like
that's why NORAD's located where it is.
like the president's
They can't
bug
get to
out bunker isn't located in like Colorado.
It's
and stuff.
NORAD down there.
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
they did 9/11, they brought his ass
Yeah, to
down here to NORAD.
Safest place to be.
And like
Yeah, there's a giant city.
The computers in
underneath.
there
Yeah.
are the first computers ever built, and they won't change them because you can't hack them.
Mhm.
They're old junk pieces of crap, but they're perfect. Perfect.
No one knows about
And
them.
you can't
Yeah.
hack them because they're not in the new grids and new systems and stuff.
Yeah, they're just
What-
old school.
Yep.
old
What my grandpa told
But they
me
know
was
where
like
every piece
no
of
one wanted to
aircraft,
move to
everything is in
Colorado
the
back
air.
in the day because this is where all
Throughout
the
the world.
missiles and like this is where all the silos were. Like but that's what my grandpa was telling me. Like
They're definitely
no one wanted to live in Colorado back then because
They're
that's where all the
definitely
missiles
still
were. and
making
stuff.
new nuclear bombs though, because Russia just released a new missile that they made, and they just before.
They don't do the warheads. They'll
Just-
do the projection.
No, just before Trump got elected, it was all over Facebook. Anonymous released it, and it was Putin talking about it and showing it off. You know, and it was called the Satan II missile. Apparently, it's big enough to do like the blast
Oh,
radius
yeah.
itself is large as Texas. The blast.
Yeah, but we've already got that 40,000.
yeah,
of those.
yeah, and they're
So
still
we don't need
they're
any
still
more, and they
making
don't
them
need
though.
any.
They're definitely still making.
Yeah, we definitely
North
have.
Korea is the only one, and Iran are the
Yeah.
only ones that are flirting with.
I
that
can't.
bullshit
Yeah,
again.
I can't believe that we gave. I can't. I don't know how the hell that bill got passed to where we allowed them. To have
Nobody
that
else
shit.
is either.
It's-
That's what I say. 8 years from now, that will affect you guys
Mhm.
really strong, possible. Today, maybe not so much, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, but in 8 years when they had all that
They
time
got
to.
fucking 8 years of more
Yeah.
technology, and that's another thing. Technology creates technology. So every time something is smart, you make something. It will make something
It's
smart.
like the radio to the TV.
People are like also like they're going
First
like
you listen,
way out of hand
now
with
you
that.
watch.
From Palm to what you
AI,
guys
you know what
do.
AI is?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm serious. It was the
crazy.
coolest goddamn game,
It's,
just making a dot go back and forth.
Like,
That was it.
basically,
I'll play Pong.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
remember.
that's getting fun.
Yeah.
What was it, Herbie?
Oh, what's going on? Like, what's the A part for AI? Artificial, yeah, the
intelligence.
artificial
Oh.
intelligence is
Right.
like
Yeah.
getting
It's
really
beyond.
crazy nowadays.
So much that you don't even send pilots
And
or
yeah,
the
that's
stuff you send drones.
shit like fucking
Yeah.
Terminator, dude. Have you ever, you guys seen Terminator? That is so totally a possibility with
Well,
with like
No, the
computers.
Bible says no.
So is
that only God
Thunderdome
can
or,
create
Mad
intelligence.
Max.
Yeah.
So man will never be
That's
It
able
won all the
to
Academy Awards last year and
create
stuff.
like a artificial
That is a possibility
thinking,
for
Mhm.
Earth.
You know, like a computer. It seems like
Yeah, it's like
thinking,
that
but it's
artificial
not.
intelligence
It's-
stuff is
You have to
like,
tell it what to
getting
do.
You have to
pretty.
tell what to
Yeah.
do.
And see, the
You have
thing
to
is
ask
about
it,
it
don't
though
have
is why it's
emotions
like so
or
dangerous is
feelings.
because if a robot,
It
like
can't
if
really,
robot, like
you
if it
know,
was like smart enough, you know,
decipher
to
the
do its
difference
own
between
thing.
right and wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
You know,
say there's like a
intelligence,
forest
it won't
fire,
have
right? Well,
awareness to
they
know
would
that,
use
like, it
all the
is
water on the
It's a
planet
being,
just
so
to put out that fire. They
They're
have
saying
no
with the,
reason for
don't
resources, so they don't
worry
understand
about
how important
robots
they are.
taking
Yeah.
it.
So if there's like a
That
forest
will-
fire, use
See,
all the world's
what they're saying
resources
is
just
like
to put that
with
fire
all the
out.
codes that it generates to think, like the
And then
artificial
we
intelligence.
Let some burn.
They say that like
Mhm.
it is a possibility
It's just
one
a
day
part
that
of
it might
nature.
create its
Yeah.
own codes, start creating its own codes, and like learn how to do certain things. But
That's
It's
that's getting
pretty crazy. I don't
Robots
know
are
if,
able-
like,
and there's like all sorts
it
of
definitely
stuff,
won't
too,
know the
that, like,
difference
with, like,
between,
the
like,
army
right-
and all
right
that
and
that they
wrong
got
and that,
nowadays.
but
It's like they got
I feel like it could get to the point to where
robots and shit. They
like,
got,
it
all
makes
sorts of
its own
stuff. They were
decision
making
sometimes to,
Iron
like, turn
Man
itself
suits and all
on,
that. That's crazy.
you know,
They were
but
like they show some
I
pretty.
don't think
like,
it'll get to the Terminator
It's pretty
point.
crazy
Not
shit.
yet, at least.
No,
Yeah,
no,
like
it's-
hovercrafts and stuff. Like the Russia just released just showed a video of
Maybe
the tank,
Star
new
Wars
tank
stuff,
they got.
you know,
Yeah.
traveling
The
around.
hovers, it's pretty crazy.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, yeah,
It's just more developed.
It's
Have you
more
heard
A
about
lot
the,
of things
like,
are-
Stargates?
have been. Well,
So
the
they-
Germans
yeah,
during
that they were
World War
talking
II
about, there's, like,
experiment, they're the
certain-
ones who
Like the clusters of
created
stars I was
jet
talking about,
and,
there's like certain ones they
there's
found
a
out
rocket
that
and
like
stuff that-
in ancient scriptures they
rocket.
say that that's how they got here,
Yeah,
the
they was like
extraterrestrial
traveling, like
beings.
they were traveling through like
They're saying
that whole,
if like if you do it in the right time of the
I
year,
forget what it's called
and
when I
stuff, like,
first
you
did,
can-
the
you
V2
can
rocket,
actually
it was, like, the first
go
rocket
through
they made.
those.
And
Yeah,
Crazy.
I don't know.
Whatever that dude
I
was
think that's the
originally
thing with
working
that
for Hitler.
thing where they were cracking
Came to
the
our
thing
side and
open.
showed
I
us how to
think
make rockets and
it's
stuff like
Einstein.
that. Well, Einstein was the
cover
one.
story
Einstein was
and
the
really
one
what
who,
they're trying
yeah,
to do
Einstein
is
was the one who created
open
like, nuclear.
Stargate.
So he figured out how to,
yeah, a way to travel
yeah,
far
figured out how
distance.
to, how to split an atom and all that. But
Because if you look at those
Werner,
crop
I think his name
circles,
was
you
like
can see
Werner von Braun.
mathematically that's
He was the
exactly
dude who
they're trying to
figured
teach
out how to
us
propel it
something.
into
Yeah, there's
rockets,
something
you know
there.
what I mean?
It's-
And he was all
Yeah,
the original.
and
He
it keeps
wanted,
getting
he didn't
more and
want it
more
for that. He just wanted to
complex. And
like space. He wanted to go to
like
space
the last
and
few that they've seen,
get to the moon and stuff like that. That's
it
where like
looks
the whole
like
rocket
it's
started
appearing.
from.
They're trying to teach
But
us how to
unfortunately,
open
because of World War II
this
was going
wormhole
on,
so that they
Be
can
able to
connect
traverse. Yeah.
missiles instead of
Grow.
like rocket. Yeah.
What's crazy is like we don't know what kind of extraterrestrial beings are out there. Like they could be nice,
They're-
they could be bad.
They just
you
found
know.
a weird.
That's the thing is.
They just found this weird.
What is it?
They just found like kind of like they just recently found Anonymous just was showing this thing on Facebook and they just found this crazy book, like this crazy scroll. It's like a book of giants and it talks about Nephilim giants and shit. And it talks about how like they died off. And it's pretty like
That's in the
I was
book of Enoch too. There's
I was
other-
reading this
there's
thing,
many
man,
books
and it was
and
like
stuff.
this new book that they found. It's talking about how a giant civilization that used to be around. And it's just like, and they're finding all these like bones and stuff, like full skeletons that are like huge giants. And well, there's like they found this weird book, and there was like talking about. I was reading a little bit of it, and it's talking about like how they like died off and stuff like that, and how there was what happened was there was like these like supposedly there was like according to this whatever supposedly like way back in the day when like mankind first was introduced to like war and like figured out how to use the materials of the world, you know what I mean, and make up everything, you know, and like how prostitution got created through these angels like way back in the day that came to Earth. And what happened was they bred with the humans, and it created these giants.
Yeah.
And they had, there's this book, and it's like one of these giants wrote it, and it was talking, and he was saying how he was having dreams of like their whole civilization, like God was giving them dreams and telling how he was gonna like, how their whole civilization was gonna pretty much get wiped out because they were like not supposed to be, you know?
Right.
And
They broke and
yeah, it was like
Yeah, they broke that law.
yeah, it wasn't like
yeah.
they weren't supposed to. So he kept having dreams of like them dying and stuff like that. And it's like the whole book is about how like their civilization was, and then like pretty much how they died off.
In the Bible, yeah, it talks about that too. David, there's the second
It's weird, they
king
just
of
found this too. Like
Israel,
some archaeologists, yeah. found
his
it.
brothers. It says they killed the last 5 giants, and Goliath was one of them. And Goliath and he had a couple brothers and that, but they had 6 fingers and 6 toes.
Yeah.
24 digits.
That's
in
weird,
all,
like-
and they describe them very well and their size, and like Goliath was 9 foot 6 inches. He's huge, and they describe how they killed the 5 last ones, and they were renowned. The whole world feared these giant guys, and they were they were saw as like being gods and stuff because they were mixed breeds with the
They're the
aliens
closest
or
that-
angels or whatnot.
Whatever they were.
The thing about the aliens, though,
It's
is
weird.
because God created everything. He created them too.
Right.
It's all part of the plan.
There's this, when they talk like that one thing you're talking about, that Book of Enoch,
Yeah.
whenever they talk about those angels in that book, they just describe them about like bright lights in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
See,
all. That's
you
how they're
ever
described.
notice,
It's described as a bright light in the sky.
UFOs and that are always like a orb of light.
yeah, bright light.
Yeah.
You know?
Same. And that's the thing is, the Bible says too, in the last times or in the last days, that there would be aliens, and this stuff would all start being manifested, just like it is, you know. And so just be aware that nothing's has life unless God gives it life.
Yeah. What I heard something about like Teddy Roosevelt. He made a law.
Yeah, there
It
is
was like a
there's
universal law
There's a
that
documentary,
that-
or like not a documentary, like a document written up back in the day by Teddy Roosevelt, and
it's explaining
it's
that
the whole thing.
there's
you
no
can look it up,
extra-
too. It explains how
there
any
can be no
extraterrestrial
genetic
life cannot
testing
do
on
any genetic
humans.
intervention on human beings.
Yeah.
and
It's an actual thing
it's
written
crazy.
out
It was
by
a whole
Teddy
law
Roosevelt
and
way back in the day.
like
And
10 years
what
ago.
it's explaining is like
expired
no
or something.
extraterrestrial life
Yeah.
can do genetic intervention on human beings, meaning like they can't fuck with our genetic code, changing our, you know, basically like what we are
Yeah.
to make us better or worse. You know what I mean? So like
And then
it's,
now all
they
of a
can't-
sudden they're
that
mixing DNA.
you want to hear
There's
something?
people,
No, that
shit
document
floating up
only
on the
was
ocean
around.
where
That document.
somebody's been-
What's weird is,
Oh.
what's a trip is that document just got, like, they took that document and they, basically were like,
It
disabled
like
it, you know what I mean?
expired.
Yeah, it
they-
expired. It only
they-
had a certain year, like, time, you know what I mean, that it could be enacted for. And then just like, literally, just like, I think it was like maybe like 2010 is when it stopped, and 2012 is when we started doing all that crazy shit with fucking genetics and stuff like that. Right after that fucking shit stopped. It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff up there, and a lot of it can make you confused. And always remember that just because it's on TV or YouTube doesn't make it real.
Yeah, not even it's true.
There's a lot of people that wish they were news
That's true.
broadcasters and
That's
couldn't
definitely
get the
true.
job, so they
But that
create their
anonymous
own
group,
thing, or wish they did. And there's also people that want to make a movie, and so they make a movie and they know it will scare you or whatever, and so it's all bullshit. But to them, it was like really fun to do. And so you gotta remember that
that
You gotta
anonymous
weed
group,
not everything is.
Gotta weed out the
real.
truth.
definitely is,
You gotta investigate the truth, seek it a little bit.
that definitely, though, an anonymous group is they put up real stuff. because they're like getting into they're like super hackers. You know, they're hacking into the system and they're pulling out shit.
Well, you gotta see that. There's a thing
They don't
in the
want people to
Bible. It
see.
says in the last times that the saints will make war with the dragon or like the devil, and you see it on the internet. There's a huge like spiritual warfare going on.
An awakening.
Like Anonymous. They're Christian people.
They're trying to start a war with the government, but like all the people and
But they're-
like everybody's like they're like trying to like tell people you guys need to do something, but nobody's doing that.
They're just
Right.
exposing it.
Yeah.
They're exposing the bad stuff that's going on, and the only thing that will prevent any of that is if people stand up and stop it. And it's not like go attack the government, but you know, if somebody's
That's
out
what
front
Donald Trump
being
is
a,
doing, is standing
carrying
up
a
to stop
bomb
it,
on
to
their
change
back,
it.
you
Yeah,
stop.
They got like this picture on Facebook. They got like this cartoon picture on Facebook, like you know, and like the funny in the newspaper. It's like a picture like that. It's a picture of Donald Trump, but as a woman, like a woman. Like it looks just it's like Donald Trump with a woman's body. And then he's got like it's a fuck. This picture speaks 1,000 words. It's funny as fuck, but well, it's a Donald Trump and he's a woman. It's all over Facebook too, and he's like. And he's got corruption in his arms, and like corrupt. It's like basically he's got like all politics and corruption in his arms, like suckling on his tit.
And one
that's
is
like-
like
How accurate.
fear, and
It's
one
like
is
that. Like I said, that's the
one's like
picture
fear,
speaks
and
1,000
then one
words.
is,
It's all over Facebook, but
I don't know.
It's
One's
definitely
fear,
pretty
one's
true.
something else.
Deception.
Yeah, something like that. And it's like it's pretty funny.
Well, that's the thing is you don't become a billionaire unless you love money and power, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens because he's an outsider. He's
Oh, yeah.
he's way outside.
I don't
He's
think they-
been
they
saying
can't-
since the 80s.
they
that
can't
he
buy
was
him
gonna
either.
Be the president one day, and
Hey, he even said he'd run Republican
since the
because everybody
80s
would
have been
love him.
telling him you're an
Yeah.
idiot, you know. And now he's the
President.
president. So.
A year ago they were saying it was a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Now he's the fucking president.
I don't think that they can't buy him
They were
out
saying
either.
that
He's
the day of
already
the election until
Yeah,
it was,
he's
already a billionaire.
He's
now.
fired.
Yeah, it's in there. So.
But they did it. And that's an important thing too that we have to remember. We don't have to agree with everything he says or anything, but he is the president of the United States, and we do live in the
Well,
United
that
States.
thing like Russia
Right.
being
You know,
having all their nuclear weapons, wouldn't it be better to be their friends?
yeah.
Yeah.
you're gonna be friends with Iran.
Yeah.
Right, why can't we be
You're gonna be
friends
friends with
everyone
China.
else?
Can we
and
all be
stuff.
friends?
Can't we all be
With everybody.
friends, right?
And I don't
Because
even
if you
get
think
why.
about it, what have the Russians done?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even get it. Why the fuck does
Yeah.
everybody hate the Like, why is everybody hating on the Russians? Like,
It
it's,
was more
they
just-
never do anything. They
It's because of the
they keep to
communist
themselves.
side of it.
Yeah, it's more of like during the
Because
turn of the century.
everyone likes bringing up the past and they won't just move on.
Yeah, I know. Like they don't do
Like,
anything. They just
they
sit,
just
they do
gotta
their own
move
thing.
on.
Like,
We're
all
all
they really want to do
archaeologists.
is like pretty much be more like America.
Yeah,
you know?
if you
They like
study
the
their
idea of
actual
having cities
lives,
and stuff
you know,
like
what
that,
the people
you know?
are doing, they do,
Yeah.
they want to be Americans,
You want the
like
recipe?
America.
Yeah,
During World War II, they lost
Yeah.
17 million men
Yeah.
in Russia.
3/4
That's why
of all
when you
the
see
men on
like
Earth
Russia and
died at
the
that
old
time.
pictures and you see just old ladies and stuff, because all the men were really
More and
killed
more.
They're all
Yeah,
dead.
during war. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it started when Stalin.
Mhm.
He's the one that turned them into communism, and then Khrushchev and all those guys. And I don't know them all, but you know.
Those commie bastards.
But they're no different than us. In fact, they are our descendants.
Mhm.
You know, everybody come from either Germany or Sweden or England or France or wherever to get here to do that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the first people like that were even like over here came from over there.
In another thing,
Even since like before the Indians, like if you go back, like I was in this
Leif Erikson,
I was in this-
Viking, was the first person.
yeah, the Vikings
North
been here
America.
before, but I was in this first the first Americans. It's like this class I was in, and they're talking. There's like back in the day during like the ice, like during like the end of the ice age, people from like Asia and shit like that, there was a thing called like there was an ice.
Right?
Like,
The
ice bridge?
The ice bridge, yeah, it was called the ice. It was an ice bridge.
Alaska, Russia, and all
Yeah,
that.
and it went right across over from like kind of like Alaska straight. Yeah, and they fucking basically they walked across it, and
Hello.
And then it's split.
yeah,
How are you?
yeah. So that's how the first people got here. Was they think it was either that? Some people came from over there, and then there was another group of people that came from I think it was like France or something like that, and they came from this by boat, but it was like pretty much right next to the bridge, but it was like right before everything started to melt. You know what I mean? And that's how we got here, because they were finding all these spear points that
Clovis
were
points.
Clovis
and
points. They were only made
Oh, I
by
remember
the-
this class.
only made by like one type of tribe. You know what I mean? And they were from other side
It's
of
the
the planet.
Clovis theory.
Yeah, that's what it was called, the Clovis theory. Yeah, and they're like these big spear points. They're like this big. They're huge.
And what they would do, they wouldn't, like the big ones, the reason they only found those is when they'd go out on a
They
hunt
like
or
bury them as a
something,
ritual.
they would pray to the gods and bury them. Their best spear tips.
Mm-hmm. And that was another thing. Like there was like the rock that they needed to make that shit was really hard to find. Like,
In the
it's really hard
Americas,
to
it
find
was,
out here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you need a special kind of rock, like a rock that chips. It like you hit it and it just like chips. And what they do is they just chip it until it was like razor sharp.
what I think is crazy, there's always been, you know, that idea of higher power. Like, there has to be that something up there, you know, like, people that
That's
are just
kinda-
complete skeptics, it's like, since the beginning of, like, man,
Well, there's like
beginning of life,
it's weird.
there's
The
always
further
been
out,
that idea.
like the further out the galaxy you go, like the further out, like from Earth, the further out you go, there's planets that are bigger than our whole entire galaxy.
Yeah, it just keeps getting
Like, and
bigger.
that's kind of hard to wrap your mind around.
that.
Like our galaxy is huge. Like our whole galaxy, there is like
Yeah.
planets that are as
Yeah.
big as our entire galaxy, and there are stars, like suns, that are
Yeah.
Yeah.
beyond comprehension.
And there was a time we thought that if you went, you know,
The
so
further-
far in the ocean, you'd fall off. That's
Yeah.
what we knew.
Yeah.
And
The
look
farther
what
you-
we know now.
Yeah.
Oh
The
my
farther
We're
out,
seeing
the
galaxies
farther out
away.
you go, though, it gets
incredible.
bigger. And like planets and
And,
stars
and
are
you
huge.
can't wrap your mind around it, and that's how
Science,
big God is, and that's the bottom line of all of this. You know what you're talking about is the bottom line is where is our faith and our trust and our belief in the, you know, it's in God.
yeah, these scientists, they say like if you were to be on one of these planets, like one of these like planets that are that large, like if you were to look straight, your mind wouldn't be able to comprehend it because it would be so flat. Just because, and it's not flat at all. It would just appear to be completely flat and go on forever because it
how
was so
long?
massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would fucking destroy. Like your brain can't
You
comprehend. You're like
can't
you can't look at
comprehend
it
it.
because if you look at it, it just keeps going. It doesn't look right. You know.
It's hard to even just let in that little bit that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Are
no,
you
like-
guys done bullshitting? You guys can go up. I mean, I keep talking. You guys got anything to do? I need a cigarette. So I guess
I
I'll
need a
go. Been out all morning. Shower.
Yeah, there's
I
definitely
take shower,
some crazy
too.
stuff
I
out there.
gotta go get me a smoke. Thank you
No,
guys
keep-
for doing that.
Too much sleep.
If you ever
past
have
couple
questions,
days.
just talk about it.
Take a nap.
Yeah.
Remember, all that there is a God that created all that stuff billions of light years away, and He knows each individual. He knows you guys, and He knows your name. And I tell you the truth, God has a voice, and one day He'll speak to you, and you'll hear that voice. He'll call you by name. You just keep on the spiritual side, and you can.
So, yeah.
It will happen.
Wrap your mind around that.
Yeah, God's real. That's
Wrap your mind around that.
just as real as aliens and all
Yeah.
the weird shit we see.
That's why I don't see why people could be skeptics, you know, like,
Right?
how do you just brush that all away?
How do you
all
just
that?
reject that?
By-
You know,
by
they're not
chance
of
or
God.
Big
Those
Bang
are not
thing,
God's
yeah.
kids. The ones who reject the